Let's move on to the brandy cocktails recipes. Brandy. In his strange, single-gendered world, Dr. Johnson was quite clear about the status of brandy. Claret is the liquor for boys, port for men, but he who aspires to be a hero must drink brandy. Indeed, fine cognac has for a long time been associated with certain swaggering demeanor. Not for nothing is one of the top grades of cognac sealed Napoleon Brandy. As well as cognac, there is Armagnac from the southwest of France and brandies from Spain, Germany, Mexico, and the USA. There are good mixers in cocktails, and although, understandably, you wouldn't want to use your best fine champagne cognac in a mixed drink, it pays not to go for the cheapest grades either. They largely taste horrible and will ruin the resulting cocktail. The first recipe of brandy cocktail is the brandy cocktail. Over time, this drink became modified to include cointreau instead of curacao, a white sugar syrup, and a dish of angostura. However, the earliest versions of it are nothing more than cognac with a soupçon of bitterness. In making of these cocktails, you must follow the ingredients and procedures written on your screen. Next is the brandy fix. A fix is a mixture of spirit with lemon juice, sweetening, and in this case another alcohol flavor, with the shell of the lemon and a pile of ice left in the drink for good measure. The next one is the coffee cognac cooler. This drink is unabashedly decadent and not for those counting calories. The recipe serves two, so you can both feel guilty together. Next is the coffee and chocolate flip. Use only the freshest egg in this recipe as it isn't cooked. You could replace the Calea with Tia Maria for a slightly sweeter version. The result is a smoothly fruity, instantly rich drink with a strong, beguiling coffee flavor. The chocolate element is confined to the garnish. Next is the Coffee Royal. This is a highly sophisticated and rather ostentatious digestive, and the recipe serves to four. Next is the Alhambra Royal. We conclude our brandy repertoire with a hot chocolate mixture that tastes even more luxurious than the preceding coffee recipes. Next is the Booster. This egg white drink has a powerful kick. You may find it helps to whisk the egg white for a few seconds before adding it to the shaker, just to ensure the right kind of foamy texture in the finished drink. Next is Via Veneto. Named after the street in Rome that was once a scene of bohemian glamour. This cocktail contains the Italian elderberry flavored liqueur Sambuca Romana. Next is the Memphis Belle, one of the earliest cocktail recipe to use Southern comfort. This may look an unlikely idea in that it blends a whiskey-based liquor with brandy, but in its dry, sharply sour way it works. And next is the Kiss the Boys Goodbye. As the name suggests, this is a cocktail with which American troops going off to serve in the Second World War were toasted. It seemed to do the trick. And next is the Harvard. This mixture was invented at the distinguished Ivy League University in the 1920s. It originally had equal quantities of brandy and vermouth and no lemon juice, but this is a less sweet and altogether non-balanced mixture. Next is the Brandy Melba. As might be expected, this is a very fruity cocktail that could almost pass as a sort of dessert. It uses the combination of peach and raspberry in the classic peach Melba dessert. And the next is the Lake Como. The geographical reference recalls the origins of the excellent Italian liquor used in this recipe. You'll never want another Black Russian after tasting it. Next is the Ford. Good Scandinavian aquavit is needed for this recipe. The name suggests Norwegian, but Swedish or Danish would do quite as well. Next is the Dizzy Dame. Well, she will be after drinking 2 or 3 of these. Another of those creamy cocktails full of rich, indulgent flavors and calories. Next is the Mikado. This is a 1920s Savoy Hotel recipe of great charm. The Gilbert and Sullivan work of the same name was premiered at the Savoy Theatre in 1885. Next is the Captain Kidd. Brandy and dark rum make a heady but very successful mix in a powerful cocktail, and this one is further enhanced by the addition of a strong chocolate flavor. There are no non-alcoholic ingredients you'll notice, so watch out. Next is the Savoy Hotel. It's a short step from London's Savoy Theatre to the American bar in the hotel itself, where this delightful cocktail, like many another, was created. It's a post-coffee layered drink that required a steady hand. Next is the Fighter. This combative mixture is rendered seemingly timer by the sparking top up. Do not be deceived. Next is the Bayou. The viciousness of this cocktail evokes the southern United States. As does its name, it's rich and fruity with a refreshing sour finish. And next is the Apricot Bellini. This is a version of the famous aperitif served at Harry's Bar in Venice. Instead of the usual sparkling wine and peach juice, apricot nectar and apricot brandy make this a tempting and stronger variation. This recipe serves 6 to 8 people. And next is the Pisco Sour. The origin of Pisco, the colorless brandy of South America, is energetically disputed between Peru and Chile. This is the classic way of taking it locally. And next is the Missile Stopper. On a military hardware team, this fruity little number should stop anyone in their tracks. And next is the Port Side. The purpley red color of this very sophisticated short drink looks very fetching, sinking through a snowdrift of crushed ice. Next is the Torpedo. I have come across various different mixtures going under this title. This seems to me to be the one most worthy of the name. It's very dry, spirity, and strong, and its name reflects something of the force with which it will go through you. Next is the Coterie. Strong and sour. This is just the way a grown-up cocktail should be. Robust Cross recipe suggests chartreuse as an alternative to the hard-to-find but similar Basque liquor Izara. Arago. This delightful creamy creation is quite as irresistible as the Pumpi. Pumpi. Here's a different spin on the Alexander formula, but with the chocolate component given a sweeter, nutty edge. Next is the Last Goodbye. The flavors of cherry brandy and chartreuse are seen as being particularly compatible with cognac, and this is another appealing mixture. Next is the Incredible. Chartreuse doesn't often mix well with other spirits, but this is definitely worth a go, incredible as it may seem. Next is the Hard Case. For a small drink with a sharply fruity flavor, this is something of a misnomer. It's a relatively harmless customer. And next is the Brandy Fino. The name tells you more or less what is in this, though the splash of glava may sneak craftily up on you. Next is the Blackjack, perhaps invented to steady nerves at the gaming table. This mix is more likely to impair concentration. It is a stimulating one nonetheless. And next is the Champarill. Dating from the late 19th century, this is one of the oldest recipes for the layered drink known as a pousse café. It helps if the ingredients and the glass itself are pre-chilled, as they are not mixed in any way, and you can put ice in this drink. Next is the Lemon Lady. This is a delightful connection that will have guests coming back for more. It could be served between courses as invigorating alternative to a straight sorbet. Next is the Grenadier. This drink is a brandy variation on the Whisky Mac, and equally good at cheering up those suffering with a winter chill. And next is the Never on Sunday. This recipe uses metaxa, the softy caramelly Greek brandy, together with its compatriot Ansedi Ouzo for a thoroughly Mediterranean experience. Next is the Bombay, a very strong and challenging mixture. This is the kind of drink that comes in handy in situations where Dutch courage is called for. Next is the Cranberry Kiss. In this delicious, full-flavored cocktail, the tang of cranberry and the pink grapefruit juices is balanced by the toffee sweetness of marsala. Next is the East India. This short and elegant drink can be served as an aperitif as it has a pleasantly bitter note to it. Next is the apple sour. For those who don't fancy swallowing raw egg, this drink can be made without the egg white. Apple jack or apple schnapps also work well in place of the calvados. Next is the brandy punch. This old-fashioned punch recipe might have graced the table of an elegant Victorian party. It's a chilled punch well, which tends to be a bit more popular these days than the hot version. The recipe should serve around 12 guests. And next is the Morning Glory Viz. A good early morning drink. This should be consumed as soon as it is made, before it loses its bubbles. Next is the Vanderbilt. This cocktail was created in 1912 in honor of Cornelius Vanderbilt, member of one of America's great plutocratic families. The flavor is certainly rich enough to do justice to the name. Next is the Connoisseur's Treat. Certainly a treat for somebody. This is a very strong, all-alcohol mead not to be taken lightly. The flavor is a heady combination of herbs, vanilla, and orange. Next recipe is the frozen strawberry daiquiri. This is a spin-off version of the rum original. When the fresh fruit isn't in a season, use drained canned strawberries instead but wash off the sugar syrup. Next is the Corpse Reviver 1. Not the most delicately named cocktail, this is a 1970s recipe intended course as a morning after remedy. I'm not sure I'd make quite that claim for it myself, but it is bitterly minty. It tastes convincingly medicinal, which is what matters. And next is the Corpse Reviver 2. This was the 1920s idea of a morning after remedy, and is probably the first recipe that can lay claim to this name. It looks much more like a night before drink to me, and a good one at that. Next recipe is the Brandy Crosta. The sweet frosted rim is all important in this most appealing drink. It mitigates some of the sourness in the drink itself. Next is the Bonnie Prince Charlie. As its name indicates, this drink contains drambuie, the liquor that was oven to Prince Charlie by the MacDonald family on his flight to Skye. The mixture is a strong one, but one that seems to do justice to the liquor. Next is the Brandy Alexander, one of the greatest cocktails of them all. Alexander can be served at the end of a grand dinner with coffee as a creamy digestive, or as the first drink of the evening at a cocktail party. Since the cream in it helps to line the stomach, it was possibly originally made with gin rather than brandy, and the cream was sweetened, but the formula below is undoubtedly the best of all possible worlds. And next is the Brandy Blazer, a warming after dinner tipple. This is ideally served with fresh vanilla ice cream or caramelized oranges. And next is the Brandy Smash. The excitingly named Smash is essentially a miniaturized julep or mint julep. It may be made with any spirit, but is particularly successful with brandy. And the last recipe of brandy is the B&B. The traditional mix of this world-famous cocktail is half and half Benedictine and good brandy. Cognac for preference. Stirred, not shaken, and not usually iced in fact. For true authenticity, you don't even need a stirrer. The two drinks are simply poured into a balloon glass, the brandy first, and the drink swirled in the hand before being passed to its recipient. No garnish is needed. That's the end of our topic. Thank you for listening and have a good day.